Welcome to the Exploring Unschooling podcast. For countless parents, the journey to unschooling has redefined childhood and transformed their family relationships. Are you curious? Together, let's explore what living and learning looks like without school. This podcast began in 2016, and with almost 400 episodes in our archive, we want to resurface some of the amazing conversations we've had over the years. We hope you find this one interesting. And be sure to check out the Living Joyfully shop at livingjoyfullyshop.com, where you can find books, courses, coaching, and join our online community.
Hi everyone, I'm Pam Laricchia from livingjoyfully.ca, and today I'm here with Nick Hess. Hi Nick.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. If people don't know, Nick is an unschooling dad with 5 children. And I said that because you may know him online as the Unschool Dad. He's got an active Facebook page and he's on Instagram as well. And it's always fun to catch all the interesting pictures and quotes and stuff he shares. I'm excited to learn more about his family's unschooling experience. So to get us started, Nick, can you share with us a bit about you and your family?
Sure. I've been married to my wife for almost 20 years. We have 5 kids, as you said. My oldest is 17. My next is Rosie, Isabella, who's 13, Nick Jr., who's 11, Evangeline, who's 9, and Joshua, who is 6.
Wow.
We have a lot of kids.
I imagine that turns into a lot of fun, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I do love hearing what unschooling kids are up to. It's always fun to see the kinds of things that they're exploring. So I was hoping you might share what they're interested in right now.
Sure. It's mainly a lot of art in our house. I'll start with my oldest daughter, Rosie. She, a couple of years ago, she's an active artist, and she was an illustrator for a children's unschooling book. It's called Bubbles and Puddles, Our Unschooling Adventure by Christy Howe. She drew all the illustration for the book, and she just loves to draw. I think she was the first one who started drawing, and it really led to other ones to spark their interest into drawing. And it goes with my second daughter, is a self-taught whale artist, Isabella. She draws orcas and all kinds of marine mammal life. It's just amazing. Some of her pictures look like photos.
They do, yeah.
And just it's pretty amazing. We just got back from California. Actually, we took her. We seen some live dolphins off the coast, so hopefully she'll get some inspiration from that. Then my third son, Nick Jr., he's a chef. He loves to cook. I share his pictures as well. This kid could outcook all the adults I know. He makes everything from scratch, and it's just he's very passionate about it. That's one thing that he just loves to do. And most kids want toys and things like that. No, he wants kitchen utensils. Then Evangeline is another little artist. What's cool is she's starting younger than my first 2, and she has her older sisters to help her out. So I'm really excited what her drawings are going to look like as she progresses and older. She likes to draw a lot of original characters and things like that. And my 5th, Joshua, is a video game addict. He loves the challenge of video games. He's very competitive. Whoever plays with him knows that he's going to be very competitive. He loves to win. He loves Epic Mickey 2 right now, and he can play that game over and over again.
That's awesome. I remember trying the first Epic Mickey. That was really hard for me.
He sits there and he'll watch YouTube tutorials, and he works through that for only being 6 years old.
Wow, that's awesome. And I love hearing what they're interested in, because, they just throw themselves into it, really, right? It's not like kids. Oh, that's my kid's interest. No, they are just human beings throwing themselves into whatever it is. Yeah, it's just so fun to watch them, isn't it?
It's just their passion, and it's just like you see it, their freedom they have. I mean, they could be in school all day, but why when they could be at home really learning their passion with things that really excite their soul and really the freedom of being a human being, just to do what you want uninhibited without. It's amazing. It's truly magical to watch and see. It's truly honored as a father that I'm able to see it in my children.
I love that phrase you used, excite their soul, because that's what it looks like, isn't it? I'm speechless here. Yeah.
It's truly magical. I mean, like sometimes it's just wow.
I know. That's awesome. So I was hoping you could share with us what your family's move to unschooling looked like.
Well, actually, it's a pretty interesting journey. I actually started when I was very young. I was in public school, obviously in the public school system. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, so I was part of the California educational system. I really disliked school when I was little. I was never bullied or anything, and I had friends. I grew up with all the kids on my block. I had great friends. There was no problem with that. It just was boring to me. It was just a complete other bore. Like I knew there was always something better for me. And when I was in the fourth grade, my dad wanted to go back east. He was originally from West Virginia. He wanted to go see his family. So he went and asked the school, hey, I want to take my son back east for a couple months. Is there any way you guys can put the work together so he could do it? And they're like, no, you just have to take him out and go register him wherever you're going in the new school. So they took me out, but they didn't register me in a new school. So I really got to truly experience what it was like to be life without school. And it was amazing. So from being very small, from being in the fourth grade to realize what school was, then when we came back and they put me in, they put me right where I was left off. They didn't tell me anything. They just put me back in the class like nothing ever happened. Mm-hmm. So that really impacted me young, what the true meaning of school was. And it just, from then on, it just really resonated with me what the school system was about.
So have any of your children been to school at all?
They haven't. My oldest, when we first started, we decided to homeschool Rosie. We knew we were going to homeschool from the beginning, but we put her in a homeschool program, a charter school that gave us a curriculum, and the whole thing with that was she was in kindergarten, and the California state testing came along, and she was fearful of the test, and that really triggered us. Like, we told her, we don't care what you score, and you could write anything. It's the fear that kept on coming across really made us think and really realize what it was about. So actually, my wife, that during a homeschool group, somebody introduced her to Thomas Jefferson Education, a book. And from then on, she read a John Holt book, and we just realized the whole time there's so much more out there than the schooling system.
That's really cool. And so what were the pieces that resonated with you as she was reading John Holt and bringing those ideas into your lives? What were the pieces that helped you feel really confident about moving to unschooling?
Like I said, a lot with my own personal experience, and especially in high school, my parents were very supportive of me, and in high school, I still had the same feelings of not wanting to be there. So I started ditching. Mm-hmm. I lived in LA. I had a bus pass that would take me anywhere in LA County. So I would take off. And my parents didn't know at first. And I would go to the Tonight Show, and I would be like there was only one time I got stuck in downtown LA, like at 11 o'clock at night. And I had to call my parents to tell them where I was at, because they thought I was at a friend's house. Mm-hmm. And I admit it. And I'm very grateful to my friends, because they didn't get mad. I had to wait for my dad to get off work and come get me. But my parents always respected that. They always seen in me that I was different, that it was a different journey for me. So I'm really thankful that my parents were really respectful for me for that. And they let me drop out my senior year. And at the time, I had no idea, but my dad got a job transfer to Honolulu, and I was going to go register for high school, but I didn't really want to. I'd rather explore Hawaii. And so it was really cool that I was able, they didn't force me to go register. They let me get a job. So I got a job, and my senior year of high school, I really spent exploring Hawaii and their culture, and it was a really, truly experience. So through that, when it came to hearing about unschooling, hearing about John Holt, and I mean, that man is amazing. Everything about what he writes really resonated with everything what we wanted for our children.
I know it's almost like a light bulb, isn't it? It's like you knew it internally, but it didn't really come out until you read that. It's like, well, yeah, of course, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, at first I thought, well, this kid is in school, and here I am, a high school dropout, but there's like you said, a light bulb. There's so much once you realize and you see somebody put it in words what life is about. It's that light bulb goes off, and from then you can't look back. I mean, I can't look back. I don't question unschooling. I can't think of any other way. As our family grows and everything about it, it encompasses our daily lives, and it's just amazing.
And does that help you look back more positively too on that high school time and your parents being okay with you exploring Hawaii, for example, instead of finishing high school and getting a job and that kind of stuff? Do you look more positively on that now?
Definitely.
Yeah.
At first, it's the whole self-education movement, and it's never stopped me from being who I wanted to be. Yeah, I mean, it's like many people say that you need to have a diploma, you need to have a degree, you need to have so many things in life to be successful. But to be honest, it's never stopped one thing I wanted in life. That degree or a job I needed or my business, it's never been in the way. Actually, it's been able to teach myself along the way has helped me more than I think school ever did for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So then, what for you was the most challenging aspect of moving to unschooling?
I think it would have to be family. Because me and my wife, she's pretty much, we're always on the same page with a lot of things in life. But our family could have been pretty not supportive. It's like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
It's just like that whole thing. And I think that was a challenge because just you're constantly having to, like, a Facebook post would just trigger somebody, and it's like, your cousin's daughter's a teacher and she wants to fight with you. Why?
Yeah.
So I think that was like the biggest part. And as the years go by, just like when people try to ask me to go fight their unschooling fights, I'm just like, I'm over it. If people get it, they get it. If they don't, they don't. And I can talk to them. But so many people just like, how dare you? Kids need school. And it's just like, I'm at this point where I've seen it in my own life. I see it in my children's lives. I see the incredible things my children do. It's just the family. It's hard because sometimes people are close to their family, and it's just like the family at them every day. But it's just when you finally get over just not caring what they think anymore, and just like, hey, we know what we're doing. At the end, you'll see our kids flourish and everything. And I think that's the whole point. It was just, but I think the family was probably the hardest, the most challenging aspect of it all. I mean, the years ago when we started this all.
So did you find yourself for a while when you were first starting kind of pulling away for a while because you found that it was conflicting? Like, I know for us for a while that first year we did, less family occasions because they were so confrontational, because it was new to them. They felt they could change our mind. And I was still learning and getting comfortable because I didn't have a experience yet, right? I hadn't spent a year or two seeing my kids unschooling and knowing in my bones that this was awesome. We were just trying it out. So, that was one of the things that helped us. Did you find that as well?
Well, I think the biggest thing that really helped us is we moved from California, and all our family, both sides of our families in California, and we moved to Arizona. So basically, we only see them a couple times a year. So that daily thing, besides the Facebook posts, that they were constantly, then this is finally moving away, this really being us and really being who we are. And my parents have always been supportive of it, and they moved to Arizona with us, and it's just that whole support of that with us, my wife, and us as a team, as as a family, I think helped. And that whole move really helped a lot, where it wasn't every day, just the bombardment of it every day.
Yeah. So what was behind the move? Was that something that just happened coincidentally, or did you guys it was a coincidence? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a coincidence. In our business, we saw fairs and festivals throughout, mainly in the Western U.S. And we were doing a couple events in Arizona, and just the cost of living in Arizona is much more cheaper than California at the time. It was during about 10 years ago, before the whole collapse of the economy and the housing, and everything here was just so much cheaper. So this will happen at that 10-year mark when my daughter was the whole school thing. That's when we just finally, we're leaving, and we moved here, and that's when we really started our journey without stuff. And
yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. That's cool how it worked out, right?
Yeah.
So what has surprised you most so far about how unschooling has unfolded in your lives?
The most surprising thing would be just how children teach us. Like, at first I didn't realize, when you're open and you have an open relationship with your children, you have a good relationship with your children, and you're your children's friends. I mean, our children are our best friends. They truly teach you. They truly teach you about everything. There's some things that my son will come up to me and talk to me about something in World War II, and he's only 11, and it's like something, oh, wow. Like, thank you for that information. And like the knowledge they have, and this, it's just overall, it's just amazing, just the facts and the things that, like, truly, I don't believe my daughter, if my children were in school, the artists, the creativity they have, I think it would be stifled. It would just, because they would have to come home and do homework, and they would have to do this, would constantly be on them. But the whole thing just allows them to be creative and flow, and just let everything flow, this natural living, just.
I love that idea of flow. That is something that I was totally surprised by, right? Because before that, so much of our day is scheduled and organized and everything, and you kind of think hands off, and not having that schedule, that we just kind of, that's what you assume. We'll just kind of sit around and do nothing unless we kind of plan it, right? But it's so wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and you're right about how much they teach us, because once you're on equal footing as people, right, as just all human beings, and everybody's just sharing what they find interesting with each other, it's amazing, all the bits and pieces that they pick up, and it's so lovely when you can say, thank you, I didn't know that. And that happens so often, doesn't it?
Yeah, every day it's something new. Every day it's truly about freedom. It's freedom, and to allow them to access to things, to really access technology, to access the information on the internet, and where they could go. I mean, when my younger kids, the little ones don't know how to read, but they could talk into Google and ask their little tablet anything they want in the world, and that information is at their fingertips. And that's the amazing part, is when they're curious about something like the election. I mean, we don't really talk about politics, but they'll come up to us and talk about politics, or just a million things that you wouldn't think little kids would talk about. But that freedom and that flow is just so magical. Just kids are interested in things. They're interested in the world. They're interested about a lot of things. And when you give them that freedom to explore the world for what it truly is, they explore, they learn. And it's truly magical.
I love that word, magical, because it does seem like that, doesn't it? Yeah. Yep. So I did mention earlier that you post regularly on Facebook and Instagram as the Unschool Dad, and you share a lot of great inspirational quotes as well as pictures from your unschooling lives. And I really enjoy following you guys. So I would love to know what inspired you to start that project.
Actually, that was kind of a mistake. I just created the account one day, the Unschool Dad, to share memes I liked or quotes I liked off the internet, so I wouldn't hurt people, because I was tired of arguing with people.
Yeah.
And like I said, one day, like, I had my mother's cousin's daughter was studying to be a teacher, and like they were just totally offended and got into this big heated argument. So I was like, I'm just tired of this. These people just don't get it. So I said, I'm going to make a page. I'm just going to share memes that I see on the internet that I like, that I could go back and look. Then somehow one meme got shared and went viral. All of a sudden I had 1,000 followers, and it's just 2,000 followers. And it's just, I think I have almost 47,000 followers. And it's just by word of mouth. I've never put anything into it. I would like to blog, but I don't really have the time. I probably eventually will start blogging to share our experiences as a family. But it's really cool how it's grown. It's just, and what's really keeping me, sometimes it's hard work to really keep up on it. And but the messages I get, like, oh, thank you for showing us that this could be done. And it's just, that's inspires me to do more, to show people there's really another way to give your children freedom. And I get more positive. Like I said, you piss off the teachers every once in a while, but it's more positive than anything, just to really helping families see another way to live their lives.
I love that it started because, so I guess you were posting things on your personal page, right? And that was sparking discussion. So then when you made an unschooling focused one, then you're more attracting people that are interested just in that. That's brilliant. And it's true.
With Instagram, it's more focused because it's people that want to see you. On Facebook, sometimes, with the algorithms of Facebook, share it to somebody that doesn't want to see it. When somebody likes it, and it'll show it to somebody's a family member. Like, oh, how dare you? What are you thinking? This child abuse. But
less
Instagram,
often?
I like Instagram. Instagram is more directed at people that want to follow you. Like, it doesn't show up in somebody else's newsfeed. So that helps a lot.
Very cool. And I loved your point about how sometimes that can be like kind of the first light bulb moment for someone, because those memes, quotes are like little seeds, aren't they? That, may just pass, and then they start to connect in the background for people, and then they get more curious. I think it's lovely.
Yeah, definitely. Like, even some people that, even, to be honest, even some teachers like, oh, wow, I never thought of that, are when you incorporate this to unschooling and attachment parenting, the peaceful parenting, and overall just truly like respecting, when they see a child for who they are, they're a human being. And that's what it really comes down to. Like, we treat children like they're some kind of oddity, and like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, for these 12 years, you need to go to school and learn all these things. But truly, it's just for the human right of a child to see who they are and to really let them blossom is magical.
And that's so true, right? Because, we start with unschooling, but quickly we get to the foundation, like what simmers underneath that. Unschooling is built on these relationships with our children. Right. And that is human. You even if school has to be in the picture, you can still have respectful, trusting, loving, human being based relationship with your child. Right.
Yeah, definitely. And just like my children at the beginning of this school year, they were interested in an online school, my 11-year-old and 9-year-old. So they asked us, and we respected their decision, and we enrolled them. Only one of them didn't start it. My daughter didn't start it. She said, forget it. And my son, he did it for a week, but couldn't stand it. But I respected their decision to try it. And they tried it. Now he knows that he didn't like it, and that he had a chance to do it. And it was just so time consuming it was a homeschool part of the curriculum where he had to sit there at least for 5 hours in front of the computer and do all their Common Core math. And he realized what it was about. And after a week, he asked not to do it. So it was truly amazing to see him, let him make that decision about his schooling. Not mean like, you have to do this, but give him the freedom that at 10, 11 years old, that he knows he has the freedom to choose what he wants in life. That I my happiness comes from his happiness. Where he wants to do, the pleasure of life is to see them happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's for me, I mean, that's where my Living Joyfully website came from, right? Because you realize that when you're pursuing those things that get us excited, that bring us joy, that make us happy, that's where all the even the negative things that happen and everything, but that's all life, right? Those are experiences. They mean something to us because we're pursuing them from our own volition, right? Because we're interested. Yeah, when we are pursuing the things that are fascinating to us, right? That's when we just learn so much, no matter what happens in the end, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like for example, with reading, and I think this is probably a lot of people. It's good that we didn't live around family because I never forced my children to read, and their desire came from playing video games to chat, and it's truly magical. I mean, I think that the whole magical thing of homeschooling is watching a child learn how to read naturally, and from being inspired by something they love. And with my two older, Toontown was a big thing a couple of years ago, and they had subscriptions, but you had to chat with other people in the group. And so they asked, hey, we want to read. So it's just truly magical seeing them, the desire to learn. Like most people like, oh, your kid is 10 and doesn't know how to read yet. But it seems about that is the age when all my children really had a desire. Like we never forced them. We just let it flow. And to see that flow of reading and see it naturally and from a passion, from their desires to learn how to read. And my daughter seems like she could write better than I can, and she had never kind of any kind of formal curriculum on writing. And I see them write and I see them talk, like especially my oldest, and communicate with other people. And it's like, wow, can you teach me?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Easy.
Yeah, you never think like they're so focused, within the curriculum in schools to teach the skill, right? Because this is a skill that you'll need. But when you have the patience to follow that flow, the need for those skills comes up in life naturally, doesn't it? And to see them hit that, and so, that's picking up that skill. It's not about the skill. It's about the need, satisfying the need, right? And they'll pick up that skill along the way.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just when you let it flow naturally, and just like all the things like math and all the little things, like I understand there's some children that pick up reading early. Mm-hmm. There's some children that want to read earlier, but when you see it and you let it flow, everything in life, I mean, for thousands of years, humans learn naturally. Mm-hmm. And when you let it happen and you don't get there and you don't force it and you're just there helping them. And I think that's the important part is you have to be there. I mean, me and my wife are constantly with our children. You have to be there to help them and guide them, answer their questions or help them spell something. And when you're there and you're just part of your children's lives and you just see it all, you come together, and it's truly a magical lifestyle that we live. It's just, it's amazing. It's really
Yeah, and that's such a good point too, because if they're like you say, when you're with them, if they're not at a place where, say, reading is going to come together for them, we're there to help them, to read for them, so that you don't hold a skill hostage on them. You know what I mean? No, if you want that, you got to figure out how to read.
Actually, we had a problem like that. That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
We had a family member that came over, and he has a college degree, and he's into engineering. He bought my son all these different little engineering things. And he told him, this was a couple of years ago, he said, I'm not going to teach you because you can't read. And we were like flabbergasted. It was like, you missed a moment with this child that you could share all your knowledge with, but you told him that because he can't read, you're not going to help him. And it was just amazing that people think this way. It's like, he could have probably learned way more by you sitting there explaining him the things later life, applying it to something that he was excited about in his life, than not choosing to connect with him. It was just amazing. It was just crazy to us to think that somebody would say that.
Yeah, I know. It just makes no sense to, it just because it's not something that comes up in our lives, right? Like you said, it was somebody from the outside coming in, and sometimes it surprises you because it's been so long since you've seen that kind of approach or attitude towards kids, right?
Yeah. And that's what's helped us a lot. Like I said, moving away and seeing that outside for, I mean, like 98% of my friends on Facebook are unschoolers. So
yeah.
Over the years, like people meet up, and it's just I'm surrounded by it a lot, and our friends are unschoolers. So it's just when somebody outside approaches me, it's just like, whoa, wait a minute. We've been doing this for a long time. I think we know it works.
And our last question, Nick, as an unschooling dad, what piece of advice would you like to share with dads who are considering or just starting out on this journey?
I think the biggest thing, and one of my favorite quotes by John Holt, is to really trust children. And to trust children, you must learn to trust yourself, that John Holt quote. Mm-hmm. And I think just be open-minded. Yeah, I mean, I know I see this question a lot in groups. I don't really participate in groups. But you see the mom, like, my husband just won't get it. And sometimes they'll send me a message on Instagram, like, how do I convince my husband to unschool? Or my mother-in-law just doesn't get it. And I think the biggest part for dads is to really trust your children and just be open-minded, be supportive, be listening. I mean, I know sometimes dads go away for work and they're working a lot, so it's a lot of times the responsibility of the mom, a lot with the kids. But really listen to your spouse, your significant other on what's really going on, and be supportive. I mean, children are learning, and when you give them that environment, give them that environment of freedom. I mean, so many times our society says, know this. We constantly want to restrict. But children are very good at self-regulating. When you give them the freedom to be on the internet, to explore what they want, let them explore. Our future is technology. Give them the freedom to be who they are. And just like I know many people, like my example, my passions, like dads that have passions, it's like when you learn about your passions or you're learning about something new, you learn just like your children will learn. And just overall, just really trust, respect the child, just respect it, be supportive. I mean, it's just that unless there's some kind of mentally where your children's not learning or writing, they'll learn, they'll get it. As long as you're there, as long as one parent is there, they're guiding them and directing them, they're learning. And you give them that freedom to pursue what they want, they're going to learn.
I love that. I think that open-mindedness is so important because it is such a big leap. It's so unconventional at first, isn't it? But if you can have that open-mindedness and just hold that trust for a while and let things flow, you'll see for yourself. All these things will happen, won't they?
Yes, definitely. And yeah, like I said, it is hard. I guess it is hard for some people to realize, like, with that whole school thing, then coming to something where you let children be free is a really hard decision, but it's really well worth it. It's really worth it just to see them and just to blossom into these amazing human beings, these amazing people. I mean, and another thing, I think what dads do, they think they need to be the father figure and set these rules in their house, but free your children from arbitrary rules and just be your children's friend. I have amazing relationships with my children. Mm-hmm. Our teenagers are amazing human beings. Like, you see people complain about their teenagers, it's like, I can't complain.
Yeah.
When you're friends, they're amazing. I mean, when you give them freedom and you respect them, you have to be their friend. And they'll come to you. When my daughter has a problem, she comes to my wife or I. When she's sad, when anything outside force, anything outside influence where they're bothered, they come to you. And that's the effect of unschooling I want, is they come to us instead of going to finding some other kind of thing to fulfill their need. So when they can know they can come and talk to us and we could help them solve the problem or figure something out. And I think that's what the true experience that is about.
Yeah, like they know that we have their backs, right? That
Yes.
they're not going to be judged. They're not going to, be punished. There's the word. I couldn't even think of the word. It's been a long time. But yeah, when you're on the same team, that doesn't mean things are perfect or anything like that, because, stuff happens in life. Things go wrong. But when they know you've got their back, like you said, they're going to come to you, right? Because they know you have the experience. They know you love them, and they have this comfortable relationship with you to sort through things and to try and figure out a path forward, right?
Yes, definitely. And I think that's like the biggest thing that made my public schooling tolerable was I know my parents had my back. From being very little, my mom always, I was the youngest, so my brothers and sisters were oldest, or older and already had moved out. And my mom always had my back. From being, when I was little, I remember being like 3 or 4, and we were somewhere, and I was just looking at candy, and the lady like, "Don't touch that." And my mom immediately told that lady, "Hey, don't talk to my kid. Don't talk to my son like that." So from being very little, I knew my mom would stand up for me. So throughout my school, when I knew something was wrong, no matter if I was right or the school was right, or if I was wrong, I could go home to my mom, and my mom would be right down at the school telling them where to put it. And that's very important. And especially because I grew up in the inner city of LA, there's a lot of gangs and things like that. And I could have been influenced anyway. And but I knew my mom, my parents were very supportive of me. And that's like the most important key, I think, in all of it, is just being there for them and helping them through life so they know they could come to you and not go somewhere else.
That's such a great point, Nick. And I think you're right. It boils down to that relationship in the end, doesn't it?
Yes.
And that relationship lasts a lifetime, not just for these compulsory school years, right? You're building a life with them. Yeah,
life, like it's a lifestyle. It's our whole life. And what's really like, a lot of people think, oh, this unschooling education method for your children, but it's not. It's life. Even it helped, like my wife and I, when we first really started going this, it helped us question things in life, made us better critical thinkers of so many other things in life. And it's just like, we're like learning, and it's amazing, just overall the knowledge and just the things you start questioning and just over and over. And it's just like, it's a lifestyle. It's just, everything encompasses your life, learning and growing and questioning. And it's awesome.
That's right. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today, Nick. I had so much fun. Thank you.
Curious. Thank you for having me and for having me to share.
Yeah, no, I loved hearing a bit more about your story. That's great. And before we go, where's the best place for people to connect with you online if they would like to follow along as well?
Facebook at the Unschool Dad, or Instagram at the Unschool Dad.
Perfect. And I will share links to that in the show notes. Thank you so much, Nick. Have a great day.
Bye.
I hope you found this episode helpful on your unschooling journey. And be sure to check out the growing podcast archive. The conversations never go out of date. You can find more information about my books, the Living Joyfully Network online community, and the Childhood Redefined Unschooling Summit online course at my website, livingjoyfully.ca.